Hello everyone and welcome to our extended webinar presentation. My name is Sarah and this is my partner Avnit. We are excited to share a deep and meaningful conversation with you today about communicating with kindness, based on an episode from the Last Art of Communication podcast hosted by Molly and Trisha. We selected this podcast because kindness is a universal need. It influences how people feel, how they communicate, and how they respond to challenges. In the field of early childhood education, kindness is not optional. It is a core professional skill. Every moment of our day involves communication with children, families, colleagues, and community members. And kindness shapes the quality of every of those interactions. Kindness is also deeply connected to mental health, emotional safety, and the way children learn. Research shows that children learn better when they feel safe and valued, and kindness is a direct way we support those needs.
Oh, absolutely, Sarah. And one important thing we want to highlight right from the beginning is that kindness is not something we only use when life is easy. In fact, kindness becomes most meaningful during moments of stress, disagreement, or misunderstanding. That's exactly why this topic matters because real life communication isn't always smooth. Sometimes we're tired, overwhelmed, or pulled in many directions. And those moments are when kindness becomes both challenging and powerful. The podcast reminded us that even small acts of kindness can change the emotional tone of a situation and create connection instead of conflict. Our goal today is to break down the major themes from the podcast, explore practical tools, connect everything to ECE practice, and support your own growth as reflective communicators. We're excited to take you through this journey with us. Before we jump into the ideas from the podcast, we want to invite you to reflect on two important questions. Research shows that when we activate reflection in the brain before learning, we process information more deeply. So, here are the questions. When was the last time someone showed you kindness when you really needed it? And the question number two to you is when was the last time your own stress affected your tone or communication? Take a few seconds to think about real life moments. Maybe someone spoke gently to you when you were frustrated. Maybe someone listened without interrupting. Or maybe someone forgave you for snapping at them.
And when you think about the second question, when stress affected your communication, try to be honest with yourself. We've all had moments where our tone came out sharper, or we didn't have the patience we normally have. That doesn't make us bad people, it makes us human. The podcast explains that the more aware we become of these moments, the easier it is to choose kindness next time. Awareness is the first step toward intentional communication. Actually, one of the most important messages from the podcast that I found is that kindness is the foundation of effective communication. Kindness does many things at once. Like it builds trust, it reduces defensiveness, it opens space for collaboration, it helps people feel safe, it leads to better problem solving. Think about times when someone spoke to you harshly. How did your body react? Maybe your stomach tightened. Maybe you stopped listening. This is because the brain responds to tone as much as to words. A harsh tone triggers defensiveness, while a gentle tone creates openness.
Exactly. The podcast points out that tone is one of the most powerful forms of communication. In fact, research shows that people remember tone longer than exact words. Tone shapes meaning. For example, can you help me for a second? Can sound gentle, irritated, impatient, or dismissive depending on tone. Children especially read tone faster than adults. They watch out our face, listen to our voice, and sense our emotional energy. That's why kindness is a professional responsibility in ECE. A warm tone can calm a dysregulated child, a gentle explanation can turn conflict into learning, and a respectful tone can strengthen relationships with coworkers and families. The podcast includes a memorable story about Molly's experience with road rage. She was honking aggressively at someone who was driving slowly, assuming the driver was careless or rude. But when she finally saw the person, she realized it was an elderly woman who looked terrified. At that moment, Molly felt deeply ashamed because she realized she wasn't reacting to a person, she was reacting to a stereotype in her head. This story shows how quickly we stop seeing people as humans when we're stressed.
And this happens in EC too, without us noticing. When we are overwhelmed, we might start labeling children: the loud one, the difficult one, the one who always hits. But the moment we stop seeing the children as a whole human with emotions, needs, and challenges, our tone changes. It becomes less compassionate. When we remind ourselves this child is tired or this child is frustrated because they don't have the words yet, our kindness naturally returns. Seeing humanity is the starting point of all kind communication. Perspective taking is one of the most powerful skills in communication. The podcast emphasized that we almost never know what someone else is going through. The coworker who seems distant might be dealing with depression. The parent who seems irritable might have slept only 2 hours. The child who is crying might be overwhelmed or overstimulated. Perspective taking doesn't mean making excuse for people. It means understanding that behavior has roots.
Yes, and perspective taking helps us change our communication from judgment to curiosity. Instead of saying, "Why are you acting like this?" we can shift to, "I wonder what's happening for you." The small mental shift changes your tone automatically. Your voice softens, your posture relaxes, your patience increases. With children, this is essential. Children don't misbehave to annoy us. Behavior is communication. A child who hits might be seeking connection. A child who cries might be overwhelmed. A child who refuses might be protecting their autonomy. Perspective taking helps us approach situations with empathy rather than frustration. One important point from the podcast is that kindness is not weakness. Kindness does not mean saying yes to everything or allowing others to take advantage of you. In fact, the strongest communicators are both kind and assertive. You can say no respectfully, set boundaries gently, express concerns without attacking, correct behavior with compassion, guide children without shaming them.
Yes, for example, instead of saying you're always late, we can say, I need us to start on time so we can support the children together. Same message, but kind tone. With children, kindness means guiding them firmly but respectfully. With families, it means giving honest feedback gently. With colleagues, it means addressing challenges without damaging the relationship. Kindness and boundaries support each other. Another key idea from the podcast is that kindness isn't only in the words, it is in our delivery. The way we speak communicates more than the words we choose. Tone, facial expression, posture, volume, speed, all of these carry emotional meanings.
For example, saying I'm listening with a frustrated face does not communicate listening. And children especially pick up these signals quickly. A sigh, a raised eyebrow, or a tight jaw can make a child feel judged or unsafe. In ECE, our delivery helps create predictable, emotionally safe environments where children can explore, express themselves, and learn. Kindness is deeply connected to DEIB, diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. Where when we communicate with kindness, we support emotional safety, which is basis of belonging. Kindness supports diversity by respecting cultural, linguistic, and family differences. Equity by ensuring everyone is treated with dignity. Inclusion by making every voice heard. Belonging by helping each child feel valued.
When we speak kindly to a multilingual child, when we greet a newcomer family warmly, or when we patiently support a child with different abilities, we're doing DB work. Emotional safety is a human right. Communicating with kindness sends the message you matter, you're safe here. This is essential in early childhood environment. Let's connect kindness directly to real easy moments. With children, co-regulation through calm tone, validating feelings like I see you're upset, I'm here to help, narrating emotions to build emotional literacy, resolving conflict without blame, guiding behavior gently but firmly. With families, respecting cultural differences, listening without judgment, sharing concern kindly and professionally, being patient during stressful transitions, and with colleagues, assuming positive intent, addressing conflict respectfully, dividing tasks fairly, appreciating each other's strengths.
When kindness becomes part of our communication style, children feel calmer, families feel welcomed, and colleagues feel valued. This improves the learning environment and well being of everyone involved. We invite you to reflect for a moment. Think of a time when someone showed kindness at the exact moment you needed it. What changed for you emotionally?
Now choose one person you will intentionally practice kindness with today. Maybe a child, maybe a family member, maybe a coworker. Notice how your communication shifts when kindness becomes intentional. To summarize, today we explored why kindness matters, how stress affects tone, perspective taking, seeing humanity, DB connections, EC strategies, kindness with boundaries, emotional safety.
At last, We want to say that kindness is powerful. It is both simple and life changing. We thank you for joining us today and reflecting with us.
Here you can find all the references that we use for this presentation, and don't hesitate if you have any question about references or about the presentation. We are here to answer you. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch our webinar. We truly appreciate your attention, reflection, and openness to exploring the power of kindness in communication. We hope this presentation inspires meaningful interaction in your daily work with children, families, and colleagues. Kindness is a small action with a big impact, and together we can help create more compassionate and supportive environments. Thank you again for listening to us.